Welcome to today's episode. A sweeping new study from the FTC has exposed the vast surveillance practices of major social media and streaming platforms. From tracking user data to the sharing it without proper safeguards, the findings are truly troubling. And what's worse, children and teens are deeply affected. We'll break down how these companies are collecting your data, why privacy protections are failing, and what changes the FTC is recommending to address these serious protections. Stay tuned as we explore how social media giants profit at the cost of your privacy. That and many, many more stories tonight. Welcome to episode 1667 for you this Thursday, September 19th. I'm your host, Todd Cochran, ready to deliver you tech news and your absolute wanted information fix. A quick shout out to our incredible sponsor at GoDaddy. Explore exclusive deals and discounts at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And to all of our fantastic listeners, you are the heartbeat, absolute heartbeat of this show. And we want to make sure that you know that we welcome you here as our insiders, as our Geek News Central insiders. So welcome to the podcast. And of course, we're lit and live thanks to modern podcast apps. Don't just listen, experience the show live by grabbing a modern podcast app at podcastapps.com. You can interact in real time and take your podcasting experience to the next level. And of course, while you're at it, check out the full Geek News Central universe. That's real easy to do. Get over to geeknewscentral.com where you'll find all our partner shows and tons of content and more tech goodness. Of course, stay in the loop. Follow or subscribe to your favorite podcast via your favorite podcast app and join the community. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter for even more insider scoops. Of course, if you have something to say, it's real simple. Join the conversation at geeknews.chat. You can email me geeknews@gmail.com or hit us up on X at Geek News, and you can even catch me on Facebook. A massive thank you to GoDaddy, our longest continuing sponsor in podcasting. Really, they just make things happen here, keeping the savings rolling and the tech flowing. You can grab their best deals at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. If you're ready to snag an epic deal for just $11.99, grab yourself a brand new domain name. Or if you're feeling ambitious, lock in economy hosting for $6.99 a month, and they get you a free domain, professional email, and SSL certificate for the first year. Need more power? Go all out with the managed WordPress hosting for $12.99 a month, still snagging that free domain, email, and SSL. And hey, not sure yet? No worries. Take GoDaddy's website builder for a spin with a free month of trial on us, whether you need something personal, ready, or to go big with business. And here's the kicker. Unlike some of those shady sites tracking your every move, yeah, we see you, not you listeners. When you head to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, you're supporting a small business run by content creators just like us. No sneaky tricks, just real deals. Big thanks to GoDaddy for keeping the tech dream alive and supporting Geek News Central. Ready to get those savings rolling? Go to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. We see you and appreciate you, and thank you for supporting our sponsor here at Geek News Central. So what did you guys think? Trying something new here. We'll see how it goes as the show goes on. And it's a little different than the normal dialogue, don't you think? So how's everybody doing? Thanks and welcome to the show. We appreciate you being here. And, it's been this week of insane number of meetings. I about hit the wall today at about 4:00 when we got done. But I've had it's been one of the most productive, motivating weeks I've had in a while. And it really, it's one of those things where you just, sometimes you're hitting on all cylinders and it's good. But I have to give you a bit of an update, and you'll laugh just a little bit. As we were going through or I say we, I guess, somehow I think there's others helping me, but when I was going through all this stuff, cleaning up the studio, going through my security room stuff, and really just trying to get to the point of being in a position to kind of call it done, I grabbed these two boxes that were in a box, and I'm like, oh yeah, that is I'd gotten something sometime, and I said, why do I have two of these? And I opened the box up, and I did oh. For 5 years, these two monitors, and they're little itty bitty things. They're about, well, as I'm looking at it right now, it's maybe 6 inches by 4 inches, and maybe 6 inches by 4 inches. And they're SDI monitors or HDMI, or they're basically, I bought them because I was thinking, I remember getting them, but I had no idea, be honest with you, I had no idea when. So I'm going back through, and so long story short, near as I can figure, I was going to buy them for our event in CES, and being able to have a monitor on the table to see exactly what was going on. And matter of fact, they would have been perfect for that. But somehow they never made it to me to CES. Maybe it was because I switched from taking gear to Scott. I don't know. But what I've been having, one small challenge with this new layout, is the way I've got the screen layout set up. And I'm surrounded by screens here. It's ridiculous. To the right of me is the TriCaster screen. Okay. That I can see where the positioning of the cameras is by just glancing down, and I've got pretty good finger control now to know what shot is what, because I'm doing my own switching. So like with just switching to camera one, I just hit a button with my finger, come back to the other camera, I'm good, right? Well, sometimes when I'm straight ahead and there is an article, because now I'm able to put my articles up on the screen. I sacrificed having the switching stuff over on the screen, seeing that. And I don't know why I didn't do this years ago. It just kind of made me realize I got access to this monitor more easily. But sometimes I forget which position I'm in. I don't know if I'm in camera one, camera two, and even though I may have moved my hand, and so this particular view now, I have a little monitor here that shows me. Matter of fact, I just saw something. The lights are not supposed to be on, so I turn those off. The view here gives me just a little bit of enough of a heads up that I can also watch what's going on with chat and not lose focus of what I'm doing here. So just this little stupid monitor that I bought years ago really kind of, at this point, dials this thing in. And I'm pretty pleased. I am. And I could have done this at the other studio. There'd have been no issue doing it over there whatsoever. But I guess, you got to get complacent. I forgot about this monitor. And I went online thinking, this thing's obsolete. And no, these things are like $185 each. So I've got another one. I have no place for it. There's really no reason for it to even be used. But it's just, little itsy bitsy minor tweaks. And, my mom was up here last couple nights ago, and she said, why do you have to have that stand there? Can't you mount that light on the corner of the table there so it's not a trip hazard? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I could. So I've been looking around for some sort of a little table mount thing that'll get it basically so I don't have to have a tripod there. And this little, other people observe that I just kind of put up with. And because this is a living space as well, I'm a little more cognizant of, what this thing looks like. It definitely looks like mission control. But yeah, anyway, just some things like this, just you find, and you have this realization that things could have been better. So here we are. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the show. Back with you again next week for another 2 editions of the podcast. Right on schedule next week as we start the March here. I don't think we're going to make it before the end of the year. We've got October, November, December. Yeah, we might get there. Now, I am going to let you guys know about a little programming thing that's going to happen. On October 9th is the 20th year celebration for this show. 20 years of doing podcasts on October 9th. So we'll have 2 normal shows next week. I'll have a show Monday the 30th. Now, that show is going to probably go early because I have the podcast awards ceremony at 8 p.m. Is that the right time? 8 p.m. Eastern. So I got to be locked in ready to do the podcast awards ceremony at 8 p.m. Eastern. So go a little early, get this out of the way, make the change up of the studio, then do the awards ceremony on the 30th. And then I'm off the following morning to Palm Beach for a retreat for Raw Voice. So there's going to be no show on September 3rd. But I will be back here, for October 3rd. But I will be back to do the show on the 7th and the 9th. And, of course, the show on the 9th will be the 20-year anniversary of the show, and we'll have a little fun with that. All right, so anyway, that just kind of gets you guys caught up on what's going on. We'll go ahead and get into the stack here. I've already spent a lot of time getting you guys caught up on what's going on. So, again, welcome to the show today. Thanks for being here, and my pleasure being podcast. If you're watching the stream, make sure you check in and say hello. We definitely appreciate it when you do that. And those of you on YouTube, that's the way the show runs sometimes. Okay, this new FTC study finds that social media sites have engaged in vast surveillance of its users. I think we kind of knew this already, but this study published is really the first major sweeping study of its kind, and it's been going on for 4 years. And the FTC said that many social media sites and streaming services engage in what they are basically terming vast surveillance of consumers in order to monetize their personal information. I think we kind of knew this. After all, and I've said this many, many times, as the old saying goes, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. But even if you are paying for YouTube, you're still the product. So, I guess that's, kind of how it goes. Still, the study suggests a level of surveillance that could shock even the most cynical among us. And according to the FTC, these entities collect and identify, retain troves of data. The companies also engage in broad data sharing with woefully inadequate security measures. They found that some companies didn't delete all user data in response to deletion requests. Additionally, some companies were found to be using privacy invasive technologies like tracking pixels. There are some podcasts out there that are using tracking pixels. This show does not employ tracking pixels at all. But some of your most heavily monetized, most famous podcasts are using tracking pixels. Just understand that. To facilitate advertising to users. But there's more. The report found that users and even non-users had little or no way to opt out of how their data was used by automated systems. We've asked you guys in the past some questions about this type of stuff, and about 50% of you say, I'll opt in if I'm given the right to do so. But oftentimes in podcasting, they just collect on you, especially if you're on one of those world famous websites that has a lot of music on it as well. So the FTC found that these companies employ different, inconsistent, and inadequate approaches to monitoring, testing the use of these automated systems. And they report that social media and video streaming services didn't adequately protect children and teens on their site. And went on to suggest that social media and digital technology as a whole contributes to negative mental health, So, I think any social media too much is bad for anyone, to be honest with you. And they say these issues boil down to the for profit models of these companies. They have to make money off you. And the mass collection of this user data is used to monetize, resell, remarket, figure out what you like, what you don't like, and be able to sell to you at a very, very, very tight scale. And they have concluded self regulation has been a failure. To that end, they have issued several recommendations to help solve these problems. Primarily, it wants Congress to pass comprehensive privacy legislation. I don't think they're capable of doing it, to be honest with you. I think Congress is not at all capable of passing a comprehensive privacy bill. There's just too much politics involved. And the FTC also recommends that these companies actually delete consumer data when we ask them to, and stop using invasive ad tracking technologies like pixel tracking. Essentially, what they do is there's a pixel on a web page or pixel in the app. And if you are there and then you go and look at a product, it matches it up. It says, oh, yeah, what we did, they reacted to it. So it marries up your activity. And they may not know you exactly, but sooner or later, they build a big enough profile up to make this happen. Again, I think none of this information is new, but it's pretty damning when it's laid out in the way it's been laid out here, as they've reviewed it. So, what do you think? Where do you guys, and ladies and gentlemen, where are you at on this? And thoughts? Are you surprised? Do you care? geeknews@gmail.com is the place to send your commentary. X calls return to Brazil amid ban inadvertent. Apparently, Elon Musk was moving some server stuff over to Cloudflare, and they inadvertently made X available again in Brazil. It's interesting that they've done this themselves. That X implemented the change to take themselves off Brazil. Why didn't Brazil go to the internet service providers there and say, hey, you need to take him down? So they said the move to Cloudflare makes app blocking much more complicated, which is kind of curious. The IPs are shared with other services, such as banks and large internet platforms, making it possible to block an IP without affecting other services. Wink, wink, wink. And blocking Cloudflare would mean shutting out not only X, but also other services that rely on this infrastructure. So I wonder if this is just a little play to basically get around some of the situation there, and maybe Elon's ready to really make an impact and figure out a way to bypass the Brazil order. I think time will tell on this. It's a little surprising. There's smart people over there at Cloudflare. They knew what this was going to do, and they're saying they're going to basically, when you've already banned someone and already shut down their business, how can you get $9.8 million a day out of them for having the service online? Good question, right? 23andMe is basically agreeing to their $30 million settlement, as we talked about. And I had joked that there would only be about $6 or $7 for each person in that settlement. But it appears that depending on what happened with your data, you may be eligible for more money. And it really depends on the severity of what happened with the data breach. Now, they didn't go into any specific topics or qualifications on this, but the word they said was, as part of the proposed settlement, which still requires preliminary court approval, the company will provide as much as $10,000 to qualifying customers, depending on the hardships they incurred, as well as other security services. But yet 6.9 million customers are really is potentially affected here. So It's interesting numbers. That means some people are even going to get a lot less than $3 or $4, $5, $6 from this settlement. A censorship accusations are looming over big tech hearings on election threats. And there's some interesting stuff that's in this article from The Verge. They basically said the top policymakers from Meta, Microsoft, Google testified before a Senate Intelligence Committee yesterday about what they're doing to protect U.S. voters from foreign election threats. But the elephant in the room, literally, was the pressure campaign social media companies face from the right to take a more hands-off approach when it comes to labeling or demoting information. So, committee chair Mark Warner, Democrat of Virginia, called in tech company to discuss the threats they are seeing so far and how they're responding. Warner took pains to emphasize that his chief concern was with foreign malicious activity, not domestic, seeming in an effort to find common ground with his Republican colleagues. He stressed that bipartisan interest in preserving election integrity, pointing to bipartisan funding for election-related upgrades, et cetera, et cetera. But Vice Chair Marco Rubio, Republican of Florida, said the issue of foreign influence online is complicated. Now, listen to this. By the fact that foreign assets often seek to amplify pre-existing views that Americans hold. He worried that taking down those who amplify legitimate American viewpoints casts a stigma on people who truly hold those beliefs. Rubio pointed to the lab leak theory, of course, for example, the minority hypothesis about the origin of the virus. The theory was widely panned by scientific committees in the early days, but came to be taken more seriously. I think this is I'll have to go out here and really think about this for a second. I'm probably in the camp of foreign content, regardless of its origin, probably needs to be removed. There probably needs to be that content, coming from Russia or whoever, no matter which party they're promoting, that content probably should go away. Again, it's an interesting concept. I've never really thought about that. But, someone's going to benefit from that, right? Potentially. So it's an interesting spin on things. They're essentially darned if they do and darned if they don't. I'd love to hear your feedback on it. geeknews@gmail.com. I'm a big believer in freedom of speech. I'm a big believer in you being able to say what they want, but these influence campaigns have typically not all been good. It is a double-edged sword, isn't it, here for me? It's a dilemma. Talked about that geomagnetic storm that was caused by the sun, and I guess a lot of the northern U.S., including Colorado, got quite the view yesterday and today. So if you haven't taken a peek out the window and looked north, it might be a great time to do so. Google's passkey syncing makes it easier to move on from passwords. How many of you are using passkey? I'm using passkey with 1Pass. I'm starting to see more sites pick up passkey, and it's been relatively difficult up to this point to use it outside of some pre-existing third-party apps. But what has happened here is Google is improving passkey support in Chrome by making it easier to use passwordless sign-in credentials across different devices. They're introducing Google Password Manager that allows users securely save and synchronize passkeys for use across Mac, Windows, Linux, and Android devices. And these updates are available in beta on Chrome OS as well, with iOS support coming soon. Passkeys will need to be saved to Google Password Manager on Android prior to this update and require user scanning. It's up to this point, passkeys needed to be saved on Google Password Manager on Android. That is changing. So Very, 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 very cool on that. I think these passkeys, it's logged me in a couple of times so quick. I was just like, wow, what happened? Did I log in? And yes, I got logged in, and it was fun. Here's an interesting one. If you're rich and you're famous and you have a documentary made and you don't like what the people have said about you, you can afford to buy your documentary back and lock it away so no one can see it. So she did not like some of the documentary and disagreed with some of the edits. And, she is a pretty powerful person in the media space. It's very, very deep pockets. So she bought back her rights to its Page 6 reports. Allegedly, Winfrey and filmmaker Kevin McDonald clashed on the final product, with the latter not making requested edits. A spokesperson for Winfrey put things a bit nicer as the Apple TV Plus deal was coming to end. Miss Winfrey bought back rights to her documentary and since decided to put the document on hold, putting it in my safe and burning all copies of it so no one can ever watch it. We are incredibly happy with the two producers for time and energy put in the project, but we don't want anyone to see this. Wow. Interesting. So this billionaire bought the rights back and locked it away. So say someone says something bad about you and you're rich, you just buy the movie, pay them off, and go on with your day. It must have been really bad. There must have been something in there that she didn't want anybody to see. That is for sure. For sure. Of course, if you're still on X, definitely don't forget to follow me at Geek News. We want you to follow me over there and with everything that's going on. And I hang out in quite a bit and make social comments over there. So make sure you do. YouTube has a powerful new AI feature giving creators everything except personality. It's called Dream Screen. So this is coming later. I guess some folks have gotten access to it a little bit already. And basically, later this year, this thing's powered by DeepMind's VO to generate video backgrounds. In 2025, creators will be able to use the new tool to generate 6-second video clips that can merge into existing content to create more engaging videos. With over 70% of YouTube channels uploading shorts every month, the company's short-form video viral to TikTok is one of the platform's most popular ways for consumers to consume content. With Dream Screen, if you've ever wanted to make your own shorts to show off the world, bringing your ideas to life will be much easier, quote unquote. Dream Screen isn't the only new AI feature coming to YouTube. A new inspiration lab in YouTube Studio will also use AI to help creators come up with video ideas, thumbnails, and outlines more perfect for kickstarting your creativity, according to the folks at Google. Hey, I want to thank our insiders, and we've got a new insider that came on board. And matter of fact, he or she, I don't know because it's a company name, is going to get access to the SEO report that I talked to. So SJG Media came in at $10.80 a month for an ongoing contribution. And Gary Ellis as well, it's $10 for a sustaining donation. So we want to thank SJG Media for coming in as a supporter. I owe Sam. Sam sent me an email saying he wanted the information, and I'll make sure that SJG Media gets it as well as any other insider that wants the link. So thank you for the new support of the show. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. And again, we had this show. Let me look if we have anyone streaming sats. We had people streaming sats for the new media show yesterday, but did we have anyone stream sats to us? New media show. Yeah, Pestmark was 2 days ago streaming, so sats to us, so we appreciate it. So check out those new podcast apps at podcastapps.com and get yourself one of those modern podcasting apps. According to Space Insider, caught on camera, satellite tracker photographs secret spacecraft, and these are kind of interesting. They're little fuzzy images. In the hush-hush secret world of space-based spy satellites, few details are publicly available in groups like the U.S. Space Force, National Reconnaissance Office, CIA, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency like it that way, and I understand why. And there's definitely, according to this article, an armada of classified spacecraft assigned to Ray Vigilant duties up there. But he's been able to decipher some of the stuff that he has seen. And I had to giggle a little bit because one of these was a quote unquote SAR satellite, synthetic aperture radar satellite. And I know just a little bit about SAR. I know I have 25 years of experience with SAR. So I know just a little bit about that. And so anyway, this article was a little bit interesting, and he was able to get a little bit of a picture of these things. But anyway, I'll link up the show notes. You'll be able to check it out. You're not going to see anything. It's just fuzzy stuff on a screen. So nothing too extraordinary there, all right? So just so you're aware. Oh, doggone it. I forgot to hit that record button. I've got backups. Don't worry. I've got a new recorder over here that I'm using as a secondary. So we only got one primary recording tonight. So hopefully nothing goes sideways on the other side of the screen here. Moving on, hackers demand $6 million for files stolen from Seattle operator. That was a follow-up to the article the other night. They're not giving up the cash. They're not doing it, but they wanted $6 million, and Seattle said no. Google employees' attempts to hide messages from investigators might backfire. The DOJ is trying to show that Google deliberately, and if this proves out to be the case, that they were hiding stuff. This is not going to be a good look for Google in any way. Google employees liberally labeled their emails as privileged and confidential and spoke off the record over chat messages, even after being told to preserve the communications for investigators. Lawyers for the DOJ have told a Virginia court over a past couple of weeks the strategy could backfire. It could end in Google's second antitrust trial, ending badly for them. Missing documents, stuff that was thrown away, discussions that were hidden. On Friday, a former Google sell-side ad executive said that wasn't the only strategy Google used. He testified after being placed on litigation hold in connection with law enforcement's investigation. Google chat messages had history off by default, and his understanding was that needed to be changed for each individual chat that involved sustained work conversations. Multiple former Google employees testified to never changing a default setting and occasionally having substantial business discussion in chat, so they were largely reserved for casual conversations. But so did that mean Google shut off their chat histories for them? They manually intervened? That is yet to be determined, so we'll see where this goes. The House Committee on Energy and Commerce are advancing the COSA and COPA 2.0. And so these two bills are moving forward. The Kids Online Safety Act and the Children and Teen Online Privacy Act. The proposed laws were passed on a voice vote. Despite discontent over last-minute changes to COSA in particular, they were aimed at quelling persistent criticism. COSA and COPA would give government agencies more regulatory government agencies more regulatory power over tech companies, so with users under the age of 18. And so anyway, we'll see where this goes. And again, these aren't necessarily privacy acts per se, but they are in a little bit in that regard. The EU is giving Apple 6 months to make cross-device interoperability easier. The EU has basically said you've got to make your device capable of interacting with other devices. It can't be just Apple for Apple. It has to be Apple for drones, Apple for different headsets, the whole 9 yards. You can't be a gatekeeper, and they're using what's calling DMA. DMA designate gatekeepers, which are made up of the industry's largest and important players. The commission explained under the DMA has a right to adopt decision specifying the measure of a gatekeeper and the things they have to implement to ensure effective compliance. One of the areas the commission will focus on is iOS connectivity for connected devices such as smartwatches, headphones, and virtual reality headsets. So if you've got an Android phone, they want to be able to be interoperable on iOS. So that's curious. I wonder if they're going to do the same with Google. What's good for one is good for the other, right? So time will tell in this particular regard. Have you got a passport coming up for renewal? Good news here. You can apply for your passport online. Bye-bye a knowing mail-in system. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to get your passport any quicker, but they've made a change here, and there's some rules around this. Getting a passport in the United States can be really a pain in the butt. The State Department has announced that online passport renewal is officially available for the public following multiple pilot programs. Until now, applying for a passport required mailing a printed form, a passport-sized photo, photocopy of your ID, person's most recent passport, and a check. However, online passport applications won't be available to every American citizen. Individuals are eligible, now listen to this, if they reside in the U.S., are over the age of 25, and their passport expired after 2019 or will expire in the next year. That means that anyone getting their first passport in more than 5 years who lives abroad or is under 25 will not benefit. The new system is also not available to anyone changing their name or gender. These restrictions could change in the future. So pretty liberal in that regard in being able to get a new passport. So nice that you can do this online now. I wonder if you can get more pages put in your passport. This is something we don't hear too often. MPA, who's that? The Motion Production Agency. We'll find out here. But the MPA is at Amazon Prime Video and MGM Studios. Its newest, the Motion Picture Association, has added Amazon, MGM Studios, and Prime Video as its newest member. The Amazon outlets will officially join October 1st. They'll have to write big checks as the seventh member of the industry trade and lobbying organization, only the seventh member. Netflix joined the association in 2019, a move that reflected the shift of the industry towards streaming. The other members of the MPA include Paramount Pictures, Sony Pictures, Universal Studios, Walt Disney Studios, and Warner Brothers Discovery. So there you go. What does that ultimately mean for all of us? Probably not, but I'm sure that is a big check that they had to write. The FAA is up to it again. They fined SpaceX for launch violations. The company backfires with a lawsuit. Now listen to this. Listen to this. Just how petty the FAA is. So they're going to fine them $633,000 for violating the terms of its launch license for the Satira 1 or PSN Satira broadband satellite in July of 23 for the Falcon Heavy launch of Jupiter 3. All because they changed the location of where they were doing polling from one facility to another. They couldn't update the launch license, so they could talk from one building to another. And they did that twice, $283,000 each time. And instead of participating in administrative procedures, SpaceX CEO said, Elon Musk, they would take the FAA to court. SpaceX will be filing a suit against the FAA for regulatory overreach. Here. Go get them, Elon. Go get them. They're not playing nice. Everyone hates Elon right now. If as soon as he bought X and become a supporter of Trump, man, it's just like the wolves have been cut loose on him. The iOS 18 message bug could cause you to lose the entire conversation. Now, this is a little itty-bitty minor bug. The main thing here, and it's kind of laid out, is that if you share your Apple Watch face with someone in the message app, it could cause all your messages to be deleted for that individual. I've never shared my Apple Watch face. Have you? Have you done that? I didn't even know what that even means, to be kind of honest with you. So don't be sharing your Apple Watch face via the message app anytime soon. LinkedIn purportedly started training its AI on user data before updating terms of service. Of course they did. It's better to ask permission later, right? They couldn't wait. They couldn't wait for the lawyers to get done with their work. So according to a report by 44 Media, some LinkedIn users noticed a new setting revealing social network platform using their data to train generative AI without prior agreements. LinkedIn asserts that data usage aims to enhance features like writing assistance, and while users can disable the feature under the Data for Generative AI Improvement tab in their account setting, it appears to be on by default. So privacy-enhancing techniques are said to be used to anonymize the data. Yep. We've all heard those stories before. That is for sure. I haven't played around with this, but Google TV Free Play, Google TV Free Play is getting more free channels. I didn't know Google TV had a free play. That's kind of news to me. So this streamer, I'm looking for this. Apparently there's hundreds of channels that are going to be available on Google TV Streamer. I quit my YouTube my YouTube TV experience, but Google TV Free Play. Google TV. I'm going to have to check that out. How many of you are using Google TV? It's not YouTube TV. I was mistaken. Google TV is, according to this article on Tech Writers, one of the best around, and its free channel offerings continue to get better. There are apparently a handful of new channels to enjoy, as well as a revamped free play interface for accessing them. Google TV. All right, I'm going to have to find this. We have to find this particular offering for sure. Blue Sky social media platform is addressing concerns around abuse, spam, and more. They've had some challenges here, and they're basically addressing it. Startup Blue Sky, which is building a decentralized alternative to X, offered an update about how it's approaching various trust and safety concerns. The company is in various stages of developing, piloting a range of initiatives focused on dealing with bad actors, harassment, spam, fake accounts, video safety, and more. And to address malicious use of those who harass others, Blue Sky says developing new tooling, in other words, automation, that will be able to detect when multiple new accounts are spun up and managed by the same person. This could help to cut down on harassment, where bad actors create several different personas to target their victims. So we'll see. But again, Blue Sky is going to try, but they're facing the same issues everyone else does in trying to stay up with this. It's just a whack-a-mole thing. Meanwhile, Iranian hackers tried to send the leaks that they got from former President Trump to the Biden campaign in late June and early July. We know that Iranians got this information. They sent unsolicited emails to people associated with the president's then campaign. Those emails contain excerpts from materials not available to the public. And according to a joint statement issued by the Office of Director of National Intelligence, the FBI and Cybersecurity Infrastructure Agency said the feds clarified there's no evidence that those recipients replied to sender. Well, they may not have replied, but they may have downloaded the material and shared it. And of course, Post reported in August, the FBI was investigating these attempts to infiltrate both prior President Trump and current President Biden, now Kamala Harris's campaign. So they didn't find any evidence that anybody from the Democratic National Committee fell for the scheme. But how do you know? Really, how do you know if they didn't share that? When something's put in your lap like that, it's like, hey, look at what I have. Now, if you pause your YouTube video in the near future, this is going to piss a lot of you off. When do I pause my YouTube screen? I pause my YouTube screen when I'm going to take a call. Well, now they're going to start playing ads on your pause screen. Yes, they're going to play ads when you pause. So not only are you going to have to pause, you're going to have to hit the mute button, it says. Now, I guess we all knew this was coming because they've been testing this for about 18 months. Now YouTube confirms advertisers can broadly target your pause screen, as we've seen both stronger advertiser and strong viewer response since we widely rolled out pause ads to all advertisers. Technically, YouTube started piloting this in 2023, but now it's available to everyone. It's been a big hit. I guess this is what it looks like for those of you watching. A Dunkin' commercial came up in the side view. I guess as long as there's no audio. If there's no audio, I might be okay with them showing that. There's no Dunkin'. I'm not within a Dunkin' for 40 or 50 miles. So, hopefully they don't target me in any of their advertising. What else? Someone got an ad for the E208. I don't even know what that is. Oh, it's a car warranty. Oh my God. Now we're getting car warranty ads on paused YouTube. And then we've got some sort of super micro ad. So I guess these are just like display on your television. What do you guys think about display ads on your television? As long as they don't play, I guess I'm okay. They can do whatever they want, but I pay, so hopefully I don't get any of that. Disney is going to stop using Slack following a hack that exposed company's data. The company said in a moment most of business would stop using the tool by the end of the year. So how did this happen? Hacking into stolen leak online more than a terabyte of company data. Did they get into somebody's account? Slack has not commented. The data leak online this summer included a range of financial strategy information. Why are you putting financial information in Slack? As well as personal identifier information, some staff and customers. The trove of information that a hacking entity called itself No Bulge just released to span more than 44 million messages. Wow. And upwards of 18,800 spreadsheets and at least 13,000 PDFs. In a direct message sent via X in July, Nolbrug, the hack group, said it accessed Disney's data through a company manager of software development. So in computer it compromised. The material taken appeared to be limited to public and private channels with Disney Slack that one employee had access to. So, wow, they got access to one machine and they went through their Slack channels. That's crazy. We use two-factor authentication with Slack, and I force logoffs on the regular. So maybe that's not enough. That's some crazy, 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 crazy stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the end of the show. And again, a little bit of experimentation continues with the podcast. I hope it's not too annoying. Tonight was a little bit of experimentation with the sponsor message. I took my transcript from the last podcast. I put it in ChatGPT and rewrite my ad and have a little fun with it. So I got this idea from a friend of mine, and I'm going to start doing a little bit of that. I might even put some Easter eggs in the ad spots at some point to see if you catch them. I want to thank all of you or the one of you that responded to getting the SEO video. Definitely, we'll get that out to you, and also the screenshot of the 30 best tools. It was in the video. Did you guys check? Did you guys know where to look on the last episode where the 30 tools were? How many of you found it? That's probably the question, because I left it up there for at least a minute or so for the last go around. Okay. It's been my pleasure bringing the podcast geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. It's been my pleasure to bring you the podcast at Geek News on Twitter. Consider becoming an insider at geeknewscentral.com/insider. I've done a little work on that page too, by the way. And as well, we'll be back Monday for another edition of the show. Thank you so much for being here. Take care. Stay safe. And thank you for being part of the Ohana. Everyone take care. Bye-bye.